Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Her World running on the Steam Deck. Okay, right. A bell sounded. It was a sound letting everyone know another hour had passed. Judging from the number of rings, it seemed to be right around the time I'd been wandering around the hospital yesterday. Just in case, I got in an elevator again, right as the bells were fading, but nothing special was there to greet me. I thought that was going to work. What exactly did I need to do? I returned to the first floor, packed full of people, and stood in line as I pondered the answer to that question. As I thought back, I could remember that the elevator looking quite old before I stepped foot on it. So getting on this snazzy new elevator was a waste of time, no? Anyway, there were so many people waiting to ride the elevators. I was definitely alone yesterday. So, was riding the elevator alone one of the conditions? I followed an elderly woman onto the elevator. A swarm of others pushed in behind me. I didn't even have time to check if there was a button for the fourth floor as I was pushed into the one corner of the elevator. Another losing ticket. How long did I have to do this? Was that really all just a dream? I had no idea what floor it was, but right as the elevator came to a stop, the swarm of people got off. Are all these people getting off here for a checkup? Right as I thought that. What? The elderly woman was nowhere to be seen. Let's see, it's too late for regrets. Gotta be fast. Hyona's World number 2. Okay. Where just a moment ago there had been a bunch of people waiting, there were now those black objects in their places. Right where the people riding the elevator had lined up, there was a line of something else. Huh? Slowly, lazily, the line moved forward. A viscous liquid, looking to be a mixture of blood and organs, dripped from the bodies of the black creatures to the floor. I've gone insane. Why was I trying to get back here? How did I suddenly get here? What strange requirement had I fulfilled? The bell. Just past noon, so it was around the same time as yesterday. No, wait, it couldn't be. Can I only reach this place once a day, so it needs 24 hours to cool down? I had no idea. If it was just about a certain time passing by, why did everyone else disappear? Was I the only one let in? The black things moved in a group once more. With no thoughts of running away, I moved with them. One step forward. Stop. One step forward. In no time at all, a large line had formed behind me. Gasp. A chill came over my blank slate of a mind. Unlike yesterday, the black creatures weren't coming at me right away. Did they have no intention of attacking? No, more likely. With the gurgling of their dripping organs, the black creatures moved once more. One step at a time, as a group, moving as a line. The ones at my back pushed me from behind, probably wondering why I wasn't moving. I moved one tile forward, and things behind me followed suit. I'm sure of it. These things, they haven't realized I'm a human. Was it because I hadn't spoken? Did they not have eyes? The ding of an elevator arriving sounded from time to time. I walked one step forward each time, as if I was waiting for my turn for something. It continued like that in silence. These things would never be none the wiser. As I pretended to be one of them, I thought about what was going to happen when it was my turn. What should I do then? These things, where were they all going? I stood on my tiptoes and peered up towards the front of the line. I saw the one in front glide into a dark hallway. It disappeared into the darkness. Gotta keep my cool. Gotta keep up with the act that I'm one of them. Haven't been caught yet. I'm fine. I'm fine. How many seconds? How many minutes? How many hours? What insane situation had I gotten myself into? If I needed to set my head straight, why didn't I just go to the beach or something? Why was I making things harder for myself? Before I knew it, the line had advanced considerably, and I could see one creature at a time vanishing into the hallway ahead. Another black creature slid into the hallway, then it entered a room marked with a red handprint. And then... bang! The door slammed shut. From under the door, as a terrible sound filled the hallway, something flesh-colored, peppered with red, flowed out. It was like a thick ramen noodle. No, that wasn't right. It was more like mushed-up brain matter. There was something like that in the black things before, but that wasn't the important thing. Both my hands shut up to my mouth to trap the scream that wanted to come out. What happened? Was it crushed? Was it chewed up and spat out? What just happened to that black thing? Accompanied by the raspy whine of metal on metal, the door opened once more. The line moved forward as a unit. I moved forward with it on shaky legs, helpless to do anything else. The hands covering my lips felt as cold as blocks of ice. I can't be in this line anymore. Gasp. I removed my hands and took a deep breath. I took a step to the side, moving to get out of the line. The second I moved, all of the things in line turned to look at me. I smoothly slid back to where I had been in line. If I stood there, it was over. The moment they realized I wasn't one of them, it was over. They had all turned their attention to me the second I got out of line. So, my only option. Kill them all. That's my only option. I took note of where all the black things were around me. None seemed wary of me. They must not have caught on to the fact that I was human yet. I searched desperately for something that I could use as a weapon. A metal pipe. There was a metal pipe lying there, but like last time it looked to be more rust than metal. I bent it until it snapped. The snapped ends were quite sharp. Good. Sticking them with the pointy end is sure to cause some pain, even to these things. Even if I didn't kill them, they wouldn't be able to move very well. If I used one as a shield and tried to run... Just as I was thinking my plan might work, one big concern I thought about earlier came to mind. What if I've lost my mind? What if this was just a hospital? What if these people were all normal and they just look like this because something snapped in my brain? There was one news story about a person driving his car into a bunch of people on the street because he suddenly thought the people looked like zombies. Was that what was happening to me right now? I thought about the elderly woman in front of me earlier. This was a hospital. It was full of patients. If I ran around killing everyone, it would be a horrible tragedy. I feel like I'm losing my marbles, but I've got to keep my cool. I just needed to wait patiently, and when my turn was up, I'd just run down the hall instead of into the room. Creak? Another black thing went into the room and the door closed. The red liquid flowed out from under the door again. There were 4 more in front of me. Once they all had their turns, it would be mine. I gotta pretend to be one of them. Stay cool. I'll just walk towards the door and turn and run down the hall. If getting out of line is what gets me caught, I'll just have to pretend to conform to whatever system they have going on here. Creak. Almost there. Creak. Creak. Then there were no more black creatures in front of me in line. I took a slow step. I glanced behind me, but I saw no response from the others. I still had them fooled. My heart was pounding like wild. I was covered in a cold sheen of sweat. The door was finally right here in front of me. I could see something red through the small crack in the door. What was that? What was going on in there? What could be inside? I ignored the perilous urge to find out. Then, I passed by the door. I walked slowly down the hallway, lined with its cracked tiles. On the far side of the wall, there was an intersecting hall where I could dart around the corner. In the center stood a large mirror. I used the mirror to check behind me. The black things in their line showed no reaction. The door didn't move. I saw another one of those black creatures approach the door. Were they just going to let it slide without issue? Was I okay? I just had a little bit more to go before I could turn the corner, and then I could find a place to hide and go back to the elevator once they were all gone. Whatever was on the other side of the door must have made it impossible for them to leave. Passing it by must not have drawn their aggro. Good, I did it. Now to get out of the... At that moment... Huh? A person? For a moment, my brain couldn't process what I was seeing. I didn't feel glad to be seeing a person here. She was wearing the uniform of some school I didn't know, with a zip-up jacket. She was also bandaged up in a few places. She was dressed pretty normal and matched the hospital setting well enough, but there was one problem. The mirror. The huge mirror hanging in the middle of the hallway. The student wasn't sharing the same space I was. She was looking at me from inside of the mirror.
안녕, 오빠.
The moment I paused, the student took her phone from her pocket and...
혼자 어디 가요?
From her phone's camera, a bright flash. From behind me, I heard a roar. Where once they'd been standing calmly in line, the black shape shifted into hideous forms. They were all rushing this way in a wave. Hey, you piece of... I gave the mirror a swift kick, not caring what that might do, but the crazy girl had already disappeared. Where'd she bounce off to? Never mind that. Gotta get out of here first. I took off at full speed as I tried to clear all those confusing thoughts from my brain. Run, 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 run. Don't look back. Don't you ever look back. I heard a loud thud behind me. My back was sprayed with some kind of liquid. I don't want to imagine the horrible scene playing out behind me. I turned a few corners. Okay, maybe this place's layout is similar to the actual hospital. Then, if I just go down these stairs, I'll reach the exit leading outside. Huh? There it was. The large door is made of glass. I have no idea what's waiting for me out there, but anything is better than this hospital. As I sprinted with all my might towards the exit right there in front of me...
오빠, 우리 또 보내요?
Here she was again. On the other side of the doors, up on her tippy toes, was the girl, and she was raising her hand up towards something. No way. Hey, you!
왜요, 오빠?
Don't you dare lock that.
부탁하면서 반말?
Please.
싫은데?
You little... The door wouldn't budge. What a punk. She really locked it. The nerve. Open this door, now. I said open it. Now, punk. The girl was laughing at me from the other side of the door. She wasn't making the slightest bit of effort to hide her mocking cackle. Don't do this to me. Open up.
나 그런 거 열 줄 모르는데요.
What are you trying to pull, punk? What school do you go to? And why are you being like this? I gave the door a few hard kicks, but it showed no signs of cracking. Was it reinforced glass? I looked back. The hall, the stairs, behind the far desk, every which way, the place was packed with black creatures, and they were all dragging their feet in my direction. There was nowhere to run. The black things were closing in on me. If I stayed here and tried to kick down the door, they'd have my back in a heartbeat. If I was going to die, I wanted to get one more hit in, but I also wanted to tangle with that sneering student on the other side of the door. What could I do? I searched the floor. There wasn't anything lying there that could break the glass. Should I back up and take a running start?
오빠가?
I ignored the girl who was trying to draw my own aggro, raised my fist, and shifted my feet. I tucked my chin, took a deep breath, and took a step back, leaving a single step between me and the glass. This position at least prevented me from getting attacked from behind. Those things reacted to the flash of the camera, but before then they hadn't noticed I was different from them. If I could cause some sort of commotion before digging into their ranks. The closest black creature rushed at me, swinging his tentacles like fists. Nothing easier to catch than a looping swing from the right. I smacked away the first blow with my front hand, ducked in close, and threw an uppercut at what I thought was its head. At first glance, their bodies look quite far from normal, but considering what I saw come from that door, they must have had brains. So if they had a weakness, it was probably the heap.
오이.
I felt the black creature's body go limp, like a person taking a shot to the chin might have their legs go out from under them. The black thing collapsed in a heap. Did I just hit a human? For a second there, it felt like it. Right when I thought that, an exceptionally large beast rushed at me. There was a thick tentacle under it that reminded me of a leg. I stepped off to one side and sent a kick to something like a knee to try to get it off balance. However... What? The thing wasn't a single entity, but a clump of smaller ones. As the sack collapsed, it pushed me up against the wall. But why? Why does it feel like I'm being pushed by a bunch of people? See, where the things were pushing me, I saw a door. Right when I stuck my hand into the slightly ajar door to try to escape, I saw it. At the bottom of the door, a red handprint. Overcome by a dizzying sense of urgency, I pulled out my hand. I rolled away from the door, hit with a significant amount of pain as I did. Just a moment ago, from behind that door. Something grabbed my arm. It felt like a human hand was pulling me. Things attacked once more, knocking me to the ground. There was no soft area. This was no soft arena floor, and the pain I felt hitting the hard floor was considerable. I was still in shock that the thing had grabbed me was clearly a human hand. I had no idea what was going on, but as I laid there, sprawled out, the first one got on top of me. It didn't have arms, but it had something resembling sleeves. I planted one foot firmly on the ground and turned sideways, sending a hard kick to its upper body as I swept it. The black creature was sent tumbling. I kept hold of its arm, if that was what it was, and let its falling weight pull me back up to my feet. Good. If they feel like humans, all the techniques I use on people will work. I quickly turned and escaped the swarm of lurching creatures. I had put up some distance between myself and the glass door. I couldn't see anything like a large rock nearby. A small piece of stone had lodged itself in the sole of my shoe. I raised my arms to cover my face. Instead of smashing it, I had another idea. I was going to aim for an edge instead of the center, hoping to send the whole thing flying. If you don't want to get hurt, I suggest you move. I rushed at the door and gave it a hard flying kick.
Huh?
The girl cocked her head, surprised by my unexpected move. Then my foot went straight through the door, sending a piece flying. It was reinforced glass, so it didn't all shatter at once, but I gave the edges of the hole a few hard kicks. Before long, there was a space large enough for a person to crawl through. Get over here. I sent a fist through the hole and was about to climb out when... I'm going to bury you.
사람 맞아요? 힘이 뭐 그렇게 세?
The camera flashed again. I rushed forward to get my hands on the girl. However, she wasn't behind the glass door. It was as if she was in a space inside the window. Then... with that current-like resistance hitting me right before my eyes. A school? There were old wooden floors and an ancient-looking ceiling. It felt like I'd submerged my head into a pool of water.
거길 어떻게 넘어와요?
The girl had fallen over in surprise and was now holding onto a door to try to right herself. But what was this? Where did the school suddenly come from? How did this... Huh? Something grabbed me from behind and pulled me. Before I had time to resist, I was sent rolling to the floor. In front of me, I could see the hospital doors and the broken glass door once more. Before I could make sense of the situation... The black beasts that had pulled me back were surging like a wave. I've completely lost it now. After that, I passed out. I awakened to the feeling of being dragged somewhere. Someone was pulling me along. In my semi-conscious state, I managed to open my eyes a bit. The hospital. This hallway. It was like I'd dozed off during the first period. My head was that fuzzy. I had no idea how long I'd been dragged along. The blurred ceiling, silky hair grazed my neck. I thought I felt those cold, soft hands touch my face, and... Ugh! I jumped up in surprise. My face felt like it had been pricked with needles. Ugh. What are you doing to me? I sent a reproachful glare at the familiar woman in front of me.
그러게. 누가 유리 깨고 다니래?
Hyuna grinned as she showed me the glass shard she'd pulled from my face.
마, 여기도 있네.
Hold on, I'll just... Yeah. Oh, that stings.
그 덩치로 왜 그렇게 엄살이 심해?
Have you ever had glass of shards sticking out of you?
응.
Since I had my hands up, I managed to protect my eyes, but the rest of my body was covered in shards of glass. Quite a few were embedded in my clothes as well. Even with safety glass, I had ended up like this. If it had shattered like in the movies, it just hurt to imagine. A little blood flowed from out of each spots where the shards had been. I ignored the stinging sensation, wiped away the blood with my hand, and had a look around. Was this a hospital room? In terms of how much rubble there was, it was pretty close to the state of the hallways, but it seemed to be in good enough condition for someone to use as living quarters. Water bottles and other equipment lined one of the walls. It was hard to see that Hyuna was using this as her base of operations. Or it wasn't hard to see that Hyuna was using this as her base of operations. And on a high-up shelf, a familiar-looking smartphone. Was that my phone? I snatched it up and shoved it in my pocket. As she blew on the stinging wounds, I thought about how fortunate I was not to have lost my phone in the brawl. Anyway, why was I here at the hospital? I clearly remember seeing something like a school as I was being dragged along, half-conscious. Ah, I'll do that, so you...
누나 말 잘 들어야지.
It's really fine, I just...
어허, 가만히 있어. 응? 아니 뭐야? 내가 해주는 게 싫어?
No, it's not like that. Hyuna dabbed at my wounds with a cotton alcohol swab. Every time she moved, her hair brushed against me. As before, her hair smelled oddly sweet, like a black cherry-scented diffuser. Hyuna's World 3.
그래서? 어떻게? 아니, 왜 다시 온 거야?
Yuna was treating my wounds with a smile, but it came off a little creepy. It wasn't, what were you doing over there, or why did you do what you did? She wanted to know why I was here first. Of course, she had a suspicious side. I decided not to avoid her gaze and looked her straight in the eye. When you send people away with that many questions, they're bound to come back, no?
겁대가리를 상실했니?
There was something more important than my fear.
웃기고 있네.
Yuna leaned forward, cocked her wrists, and reached out to me. She looked like a ghost. I took a small step backward.
여긴 일부러 돌아올 만한 장소가 아니야. 대체 왜?
It's just, I was in a rough place and came on a little journey to find myself.
바다라도 보러 가지 그랬어.
I thought of that, and I'm currently regretting my actions. Yuna let out a long sigh. I think it's too late to go back. So, couldn't you let me know what's going on? What sort of place is this? Yuna twirled her hair around one finger as she pondered her response. Then she cradled her head in both hands as she agonized over her answer. There, turned away from me, she tapped on a couple of ramen boxes she had piled up and...
막상 진짜로 오니까 뭐라고 해야 할지 모르겠네. 그냥 확...
She started muttering to herself, but too softly for me to make out what she was saying. She strode up to me with a rather angry look on her face and flopped down in a chair. It looked like the floor might fall out from under her from the strength of her sigh. So, if I did something I wasn't supposed to...
3개.
Huh? Yuna looked at me right in the eye as she spoke. I did 3 things wrong?
질문 딱 3개만 받아줄게. 가만두면 또 사고 칠 게 뻔하니까.
Ah, thank God.
대신 나도 너한테 뭐 좀 물어볼 거야. 주고받자고. 불만 없지?
How is that give and take? What's there worth knowing about me? I had to ask.
그야 내가 너한테 관심이 있으니까.
Really? I gave Yuna a confused look.
나가서 안 들어올 사람이면 그걸로 끝이지만 굳이 돌아왔다면 당연히 경계해야지.
Ah.
왜? 뭘 기대했어?
She flashed me another grin. Then, without a bit of hesitation, she reached out and put her hands to my cheeks.
이런 거?
Please don't do that. Yuna leaned in close.
아님, 이런 거?
Please. She was so close that her lips would meet with a single twitch forward. If someone saw this, they'd think I was cheating on my... I instinctively pulled back. I gotta remember that I'm a free man now, though. Right, no reason to back away. As I regained my composure and the grin on my face, I saw that Hyunan's brow was furrowed, clearly not enjoying the situation.
그런데
But...
내가 널 경계하고 있다고 했으니까
Yes? Hyuna latched on to both my cheeks and gave them a hard tug.
너도 날 좀 경계해야 하는 거 아니니?
Ow!
우리 꽤 수상하게 헤어졌잖아. 응?
Her eyes were curved in a smile, but her jaw was still clenched in anger. Usually fake smiles were the other way around, the mouth moving and not the eyes. Was it just the opposite with some people? Well, I was a bit wary of her, but... But you saved me, didn't you? How am I supposed to doubt someone who saved my life?
의심 좀 해. 그런 걸로 사기치는 놈들도 있어.
Still, I should be thanking you. I'll be sure to repay the.
원수로 갚지만 마.
Ouch! Hyuna let go of my cheeks and stepped back.
그래서 뭐가 그렇게 궁금해?
Hyuna folded her hands in front of her, as if she was getting ready for an interview. I needed to ask about the basics first. After all, the first blow is half of the battle. Where are we?
몰라.
My first blow was a whiff. Then what are those black things?
몰라.
I studied Hyona's expression to see if she was poking fun, but it looked like she really didn't know. How can you not know?
왜 내가 알 거라 생각했는데?
Well, it seemed like you were acting like you knew everything.
아는 척하는 편이 안전하게 출구로 인도할 수 있잖아.
Hyuna twirled her hair as she spoke.
날 의심해서 난동 부리는 사람도 있단 말이야.
You're the one who just told me to be wary.
처리하기 얼마나 귀찮은 줄 알아?
She pulled out her knife and gave it a few swings. I decided not to ask how exactly she was dealing with him. Then what's with the last thing you said before we parted ways?
내가 뭐라 그랬는데?
I repeated those grave words Hyuna had spoken when we were last together, mimicking her voice as best as I could.
여긴 존재하지 않는 세상이자 누구도 자각하지 못하는 망각의 저편. 도망치고 싶어서 들어왔겠지만 여긴 낙원이 아니야.
You ended with such cutting words and don't even remember them? Hyona's long hair covered her face. Seriously, was she embarrassed by all this?
그땐 다신 안 볼 줄 알았지.
So you're putting on a show? Hyuna spun away from me. Her soft hair whipped me in the face. It smelled good. I couldn't tell if she was meaning to do that, but it certainly wasn't unpleasant.
알겠어? 난 그냥 여기에 오래 있었을 뿐이고 어쩌다 헤매 들어온 사람을 봉사활동 삼아 내보내주고 있는 거야. 그동안의 경험으로 이것저것 추측하고는 있지만 나도 정확하게 아는 건 없어.
Hyuna was looking a little flushed as she made her excuses. I just ignored the look she gave me and stared. So you don't know anything?
있어.
Hyuna cleared her throat.
여긴 우리가 원래 살던 세계와 똑같이 생겼지만 미묘하게 다른 곳이고 기묘한 것들이 돌아다니고 있지.
And?
끝. 뭐야? 불만 있어?
It didn't seem like much more than I had figured out. Was she actually flustered, or was she pretending to be evading the question? Identical to the place where it came from, but with subtle differences.
주변의 건물이나 거리, 지형은 원래의 병원과 거의 일치해. 하지만 모든 게 파괴되거나 오랜 세월이 흐른 것처럼 되어 있어.
There's no way that someone would have created a replica.
이 세계나 다른 차원 비슷한 거라고 생각하면 편해.
I don't have any sort of backstory where I was hit by a truck, you know.
정확히 표현 못하니까 뉘앙스로 이해해.
I think I basically get what's going on. This space existed in some sort of reality. No, was it truly real? Could I claim this to be a reality just because I was brought here? It was hard to put into words. As if I myself lost in my own thoughts, Hyuna began twirling her hair in her fingers again.
이번엔 내가 물어볼게.
Alright.
어떻게 다시 들어온 거야?
Huh? Huh?
이곳에서 꽤 많은 사람들을 탈출시켜왔지만 나간 사람은 단 한 번도 돌아온 적이 없어.
I'm not sure.
들어온 순간에 그런 감각이 들진 않았어? 한 번 나가면 여기 다시는 못 올 것 같은.
Well, no, not at all.
모르면 어떡해?
Why would you think I'd know?
지금 이렇게 들어와 있잖아.
Yuna took off her gloves for a second to massage my wrist. As always, her hands were cold but soft. The first time, as I told you, I came through the elevator.
응,
Saw what?
아니야. 계속 말해봐.
She avoided my gaze in a very suspicious way before slipping her gloves back on. There was a subtle something in that reaction. I couldn't quite pin it down, so I just let it go. Today, I rode all sorts of elevators up and down to get back here before
왜 그딴 짓을?
Before I got on the same one as I had yesterday, it brought me back.
어제랑 같은 곳을 통해 들어왔단 말이야?
That's right. She put a palm to her forehead. She was clearly frustrated by my idiocy.
그래. 그렇다 치고 들어오는 순간에 특이사항은 없었어?
I was in a crowd, so I'm not exactly sure what happened. I couldn't even push a button. I had thought pushing the non-existent button for the 4th floor was the key, but was that wrong? Whoa, wait a minute. Last time I pushed the button for the 4th floor and got out on the 5th, didn't I? So how exactly am I supposed to get out of here this time?
못 나가지.
Seriously?
어머, 어떡해. 큰일 났다.
Could you please not?
걱정 마.
Yuna flashed me a wicked grin.
아마 어제랑 똑같이 하면 나갈 수 있을 거야. 4층 버튼을 눌러서 들어온 게 아니라 이미 들어왔기 때문에 4층 버튼이 보이는 거거든.
Yuna leaned in close again before slinking backward.
그런데
Yes?
질문 3개. 끝났네?
Huh? No, what?
못 나갈까봐 그렇게 무서웠죠요.
Crap. So she counted that one too then. Over half my questions just came back with a big I don't know though.
표정이 뭐 그렇게 억울해?
But I
3번 물어본 거 맞잖아.
I did. That evil grin on Hyuna's face, she was obviously getting a kick out of this. Was I that fun to pick on? This girl, what a...
장난이야. 제대로 대답해 줄 테니까 다시 물어봐.
fantastic human being.
대신 나중에 부탁 하나 들어줘.
Alright, thank you. Hyuna gazed at me with an empty expression. What's with the face?
너 상대가 억지 부리는 거 알면서도 다 받아주는 타입이구나? 그러니까 연애하면 고생하지.
Excuse me?
아니, 됐어. 뭘 물어볼래?
Well... Asked why she pushed me into the elevator, asked how she saved me, asked how she can be so relaxed in a place like this. How'd you save me? How were you able to save me? She tilted her head to one side as if she wasn't quite following my line of questioning. Well, I mean, it looked to me like I was in a really sticky situation. I was surrounded by all those black things, then I passed out. How did you manage to get me out of there?
그냥 걔네 사이로 쓱 들어가서 끌고 나왔는데?
You did what? She just slipped in and dragged me out, implying they hadn't attacked me? What exactly happened back then? The black things just piled onto me and did nothing? After that horrifying barrage of theirs?
아니 뭐 걔들이 널 잡아먹을 수 있는 건 아니니까.
Then why did they all come at me like that?
네가 들어오는 타이밍이 좀 나빴어. 가끔 대량으로 나타나서 손자국이 있는 문으로 사라지거든. 그 문 너머로 끌려 들어가지만 않으면 별일 없을 거야.
And if I'm dragged in there?
안 좋아.
It certainly hadn't looked very good. Could I ask what exactly is not good about it?
들어간 것들이 다시 나오는 모습은 본 적 없어. 개체 구분이 잘 되진 않지만서도 입구가 있으니까 출구가 있긴 할 텐데. 그럼 가능성은 둘 중 하나잖아?
Yuna put up 2 fingers and pointed them at me.
전혀 다른 곳에서 나오거나 전혀 다른 모습으로 나오거나.
Looking totally different. The giant face beyond that door was threatening me. The giant handprint where it connected, both images come to mind. If they had dragged me in there, what in the world would have happened to me?
뭐 나랑 있으면 괜찮을 거야. 개들이 많아지는 타이밍, 자극받는 포인트, 유효한 공격 방법. 전부 알고 있으니까.
Thanks for the info. Yuna shrugged and stuck her chest out.
어때? 내 은혜가 더 하늘과 같이 느껴지니?
How about we meet up for dinner or something in the outside world someday? I'll take you to a place where the portions are small and the prices are high.
데이트 신청하는 거야?
Pretty much.
그게 가능하면 나도 참 좋겠는데.
Yuna's response seemed rather wishy-washy. Was that her way of rejecting me? I decided not to dig in too far into it. How can she be so relaxed in a place like this? How can you be so relaxed in such a savage place like this? It's like you're enjoying it.
고였으니까.
Fond of it?
말했잖아. 오래 있어서 경험이 쌓였다고.
But how? In this of all places?
너도 그래서 돌아온 거 아니야?
What do you mean? Yuna leaned in close and peered into my eyes. It felt like she was trying to hypnotize me. Hey,
도망치고 싶었지? 바깥에서. 분명 무서운 체험을 했지만 현실을 벗어난 일탈이기도 했잖아. 스릴 있고 즐거웠다고 해도 이상할 건 없어.
She wasn't wrong. After all, I worked my butt off getting back here. However, still, right when I got back, I regretted it. After all, there's nothing more precious than my life.
글쎄, 나가면 또 생각날걸? 공포가 얼마나 호감으로 바뀌기 쉬운 감정인데.
And you don't think there's a limit to how much you enjoy?
그럼 체험해봐.
Huh? Yuna slammed me against the wall. Right after, whack! Something hit the wall right next to my left ear. Yuna's knife was stuck in the wall next to me. It was such a threatening move. I was barely able to hold my fist back before instincts took over. For a moment, panic took hold of my brain. Then Yuna leaned next to my ear and...
나랑 사귀자.
Alright.
그럼 오늘부터 1일이다.
She's confessing her feelings to me? Wait a sec.
자, 이리 와.
What's all this about?
뭐라니까?
Uh-huh. She squished her body against me with a surprising amount of force and stuck her face in front of mine, a tender look on her face. Before I knew it, she had weaseled my smartphone out of my pocket. She snapped a selfie of us. She'd even had time to pull up a filter with a bunch of hearts. The background was just as black as the photos I'd snapped yesterday, but Hyuna and I were in the foreground, looking perfectly posed as a couple. It was one of those pictures you just hated to see while working at your desk job.
좋아. 우리 이제 헤어져.
Huh? Hyuna gave me a little smack to the face. I'd just gotten a girlfriend and had been dumped before I knew what was going on.
어때?
I just got dumped in less than a minute.
하지만 바꿔 생각하면 나한테 고백받아본 거잖아. 그 사진으로 자랑하고 다녀도 돼. 이런 멋진 사람이랑 사귄 적 있다고.
Seriously, I was so jealous to have such confidence.
지금 넌 얼굴 옆에 나이프가 꽂히는 무서운 상황이 설렘으로 변했던 거야.
It's not. It's so not like that.
또 1분 만에 차인다는 굴욕이 자랑거리로 바뀔 수 있지. 결국 다 그런 거야. 이쪽 세상도 저쪽 세상도.
She'd completely played me, but I didn't feel horrible about it. How could I even describe what I was feeling? As I looked down and sorted through those feelings, Hyona's cheeks flushed a light shade of red, and she peered at me.
그게 떠올리자마자 해본 거라서 막 지른감이 있는데 혹시 기분 나빴어? 넌 바로 어제
No. I should be thanking you.
미안. 나 놀리다가 가끔 선을 넘곤 하거든.
What you did was closer to a reward of some kind. It's totally all right. In the end, I was able to laugh off the faint emotions churning inside. I felt pretty good with it all, if I was being honest with myself. However, I couldn't deny it. I was definitely being attracted to the scary things happening to me. Even if I were to leave this place, I would probably try to return again. Were those my own thoughts, though? Or did Hyuna lead me to them? I had no idea. Why'd she push me into the other elevator? When I was going to get on the elevator, you shoved me into the other one. By distracting me, nonetheless. I thought Hyuna might change the subject again, but she coolly acknowledged it was true. And tell me, why'd you do that?
도와준 건데 말투가 왜 그래?
You know how terrifying that was? After the doors closed, there was this ghost in a red raincoat.
빨간 옷? 교복이 아니라?
Huh? My response must have surprised her because she was just staring at me. Her voice had a chill to it that hadn't been before. It was nothing at all like the tone I'd heard when she was questioning me a second ago. It was so disconcerting I forgot what I was saying for a minute there. A school uniform? I tried to ask my question calmly. Hyuna slowly turned away, her face showing me nothing.
미안. 말이 헛나왔어.
Sure didn't seem like nonsense. However, it seemed a bit rude to start interrogating her over a slip, so I decided to move on.
그 엘리베이터 말인데 네가 처음 타려고 했던 건 아마도 가짜야.
How do you know that?
문 아래쪽에 빨간색 손자국이 있었거든. 녹 때문에 잘 안 보여서 뒤늦게 알았지만.
I thought I could remember seeing something like that, so red handprint meant stay away.
너 오늘은 병원 내부에서 도망다녔다고 했지? 그럼 손자국이 찍힌 다른 문을 봤을 텐데?
Well, there was.
문 아래쪽에 손자국을 찍는다면 손가락 끝이 아래로 향하는 게 정상이야. 이렇게.
Hyuna bent over and placed her hand against the wall.
앉는다고 해도 정면으로 찍는 게 한계지. 그런데 이 손자국들은 마치 저 아래에서 매달렸던 것처럼 찍혀 있어. 이쪽에 있을 땐 그런 식의 위화감은 놓치지 마. 큰일 날 수도 있으니까.
What might have happened if I got on the other one? I didn't even want to imagine. Thank you. You've saved my life a few times now.
방법이 좀 수상했던 건 미안해. 눈치챘단 걸 들키면 빨리 반응해버리곤 하거든.
Seriously, next time I leave and come back, I should bring along something for Hyuna. Maybe a chicken dinner or something. Really. Speaking of those strange signs, is there any area of this hospital that looks just like a school building?
학교? 그게 무슨 소리야?
When I was being chased, I sort of stuck my head through that pane of glass. On the other side of it, I saw a school.
유리로 얼굴을 들이밀어?
I know it sounds pretty weird, but there was no other way of describing it. It was like ramming my head into a bucket of water, I guess. That sort of feeling, maybe.
정말로?
I mean, it was so...
안 아팠어?
Why would it? Suddenly, Hyuna was holding me by the shoulders. Miss Hyuna?
그러니까 아무런 문제 없이 특정한 구역을 넘어서서 병원이 아닌 풍경을 봤단 말이야?
Yeah, I guess. I wasn't sure it was as grand an accomplishment as she was making it out to be, but seeing her lose her calm demeanor was quite surprising.
그래. 너라면 가능할지도 모르겠다.
Huh?
아니, 아무것도 아니야.
She gave me a smile that suggested she was glossing over something. Why was I suddenly suspicious? Okay, let me save it there. And we will stop it there for tonight. This is audap. You've been watching Her World, running on the Steam Deck. Yeah, I mean, the more we play this, the more interesting this world gets. You know, it's sort of a horror slash thriller romance, maybe. It's kind of hard to say right now, but by the way, it's really interesting. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.